Wednesday, the 12th of February. I wanted to say it's 8 o'clock, but it's 11 minutes past. I hope that you guys have taken that 11 minutes to get something nice to drink, get the kids to bed, and you're ready to have a little chat with your regular hosts, Charlie and Dave. Turn that off. Turn that off. Yeah. 11 minutes. No,
There we go.
we only need one, Mark Gray.
There we go.
We don't need two of them. So Josephine, will we still get sound on will the guys still get sound because she's had to turn that off?
No, just mute the YouTube.
Okay, cool. So we're on YouTube today. In fact, I think we were last week as well. We're on YouTube today, we're on Instagram today, we're on Facebook today, and we're on, what else are we on? We're on TikTok. We're on DAB Plus. We're on TikTok.
We're not on TikTok.
We're not on TikTok yet.
Josephine, we're going to be on TikTok.
Are we on Snapchat?
No, come on, man. People have been waiting for us all evening, Mark. It's now 10 past.
Oh, was that you trying to give the impression that you were ready? Was that your attempt? Your attempt to
send ice cream. Help. I need help. Send ice cream.
Okay, so I hope, we're gonna try to continue our conversation from last week. Well, it's not continue the conversation because that conversation I think kind of had run its course. But it's in the month of love. It's in the month of romance. It's in the month of intrigue and mystery. So we're going to continue with some intrigue and mystery, Charlie.
But can we just tell people, for you to love others, you need to love yourself? Yeah?
Okay.
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 Just to remind everyone,
Okay.
make sure you love yourself.
Amen.
Amen.
Do you want to say the closing prayer now?
Okay, Mark's on one tonight, guys.
Mark is not on one. Mark is not on one. Mark is just champing at the bit, ready and rearing to go.
You've got
and I'd introduced your regular hosts, but we have a guest tonight. He's been on before, and it's always a pleasure to have him on. I call him my alter ego. I don't know if he's offended by that or if he likes it, but I like it. So it's the young man, Isaac Fletcher. Good evening, Isaac. Oh, aren't we going to get a good evening from you? Can you not give us a good evening?
Good evening. Thank you. Sorry, my mic was on mute. Apologies. But yeah, good evening. Thank you for having me. How are you all?
That was me testing your mic, you see. That was me testing your mic. Okay. So okay, where we are at. So it's a couple of days before Valentine's. Last week we were talking about romance and does romance have to really be linked with intimacy? And does romance always lead to intimacy? And can we have romance without intimacy? And I thought it was a very interesting discussion, and I quite liked it. And I really did like your definition of romance, Charlie. It's when mystery and excitement is mixed together with intrigue or something, always encouched in love. And I like how love could be agape love, filial love, eros love. It didn't specify which love, and I liked that because it gave me room to say that I can be romantic in a platonic circumstance and situation, but still be romantic. So that was that. Tonight, what we're going to talk about is what we're going to explore tonight, really, because there's 2 days to go for Valentine's. We're going to explore, but what do you do? Can you love someone or be romantic with someone who is hard to love? Or if you need or want or desire to love someone and it's not easy, what do you do? Can you still be romantic, or do you just walk away? That's what we're going to explore tonight. So are the kids in bed? If they're not, do it now. If you've got a glass in your hand, fill it up. And let's have a little chat. We're on 0745 964 2898. That's 0745 964 2898. The thing I'm going to start with, the thing I'm going to introduce first, I want to ask a question first. First question is, what are some of the things, seeing that it's Valentine's Day coming up on Friday, and I have a hot date.
Ooh,
I do.
okay.
I have a hot date. What
Hold on.
are
Do they know they're going on a date with you yet?
well, I just got a hot date all by myself.
Oh no, no.
A hot date all by myself. I've got a hot date on Friday. What are some of the suggestions that we can have for possibly a hot date? I tell you, not this is not why I'm asking. Isaac will probably be a good one to come in on this. But I remember when I was in my 20s,
Mm.
like going away for a weekend with someone to be romantic was something that you kind of did not on the quiet or in a clandestine manner, but it wasn't public. It wasn't, it wasn't just common knowledge. You kind of did it, you arranged it, and you did it. I guess it wasn't social media and all of that. But it does seem, I was having conversations with people just in the last week here, and it seems like the 20 somethings now, you can almost put it in the church WhatsApp group, Mark and Charlie are going off to Paris for the weekend kind of thing. I see a lot of that, and although it doesn't bother me at all because I was always that kind of way inclined, I definitely wouldn't have been announcing it in church that me and Charlie's going off to Paris for the weekend. Yeah, so I just wondered, what are the sorts of things that we could suggest, or not suggest, but just say, yeah, what can't do? Because there are some people that want to be romantic and they don't quite know what to do, or they've done the flowers and chocolates again.
Are we talking about before or after Sabbath? Because Valentine's is on Friday evening. So before sunset or after? Or can we do the
I
same?
didn't. Well, okay, I wasn't going to make a demarcation. I wasn't going to make a demarcation because, did God want us to be romantic not on Sabbath, or romantic on Sabbath, or romantic all the time, or none of the time? So I guess if you've got a suggestion, sorry?
No, go on, carry on. I'll jump in afterwards. Sorry.
No, because if you've got a suggestion, now you might suggest something.
Mm-hmm.
You might suggest something, and then I decide, like, for example, let's say you say, and you might not say this, but this is always my go-to. I might say a theatre trip to the West End. I might that'll
You
look.
can't
Oh,
go.
wait,
Lord.
wait.
Okay.
I'm just giving it, Charlie. This is an example.
Okay.
So I might say a theatre trip. Now, I might then decide that I'm not going to go to see that particular show on Sabbath. I might go Saturday night, or I might not go Friday night. I might go Saturday night. But at this point, I just want to get a feel for some of the things, some of the ideas for somebody who's not sure what an idea is, and let them decide whether they can do that on a Sabbath or not. I don't think it's right for me to decide what you can do on a Sabbath. But Isaac, I think you were coming in. Were you coming in? Because actually,
Yeah,
I'm looking at your feed and it's delayed. So I'm looking to see if you're saying I'm coming in, but it's behind me. So yeah. So go on. So just
oh,
give me a.
am I delayed?
Oh no.
No.
Now you're cool. Yeah, Charlie didn't have you up. She had the YouTube up, but now we got you on
Okay.
the Zoom. I can see you.
Okay. I personally, I don't, I wouldn't separate whether it's during or after Sabbath. Personally, I wouldn't. Or even before, because obviously Friday start from earlier and then it goes into Sabbath, right? So I wouldn't separate. I don't think there's a problem with you doing things and romancing each other. I don't think there's anything negative about romancing someone that you're feeling towards, you're everything on. I don't think there's a problem with it personally. Um, so are you also asking what are some of the ideas that you could do with a potential partner, lover
Yeah,
for
because
Valentine's?
Yeah, because coming from a point of view of, let's say people will say, yeah, I do the flowers every birthday, every Valentine's or whatever. I do the chocolates. Then after a while, it's like, you know, you've done that. Oh, Mark's coming with the flowers again. So just it's not a rule. It's just a couple of ideas. Like I started, I don't know if you heard, but I started by saying when I was in my 20s and stuff, and if we were going away, it's something that you didn't really publicize. But I get the sense that it's okay to publicize it now. I see people saying, yeah, people are saying, oh yeah, me and Charlie are going off to France for the week. I'll see you when we get back. So I won't be on the praise team this week. I'll be in France with Charlie.
In 2 separate rooms.
No,
Oh,
we
anyway.
don't even take that bait. Don't even take that
I'm
bait.
not. I'm not. I'm not.
I don't even
You give me a
appreciate.
bad name. You
I
give me a
don't,
bad name,
Charlie.
Mark.
I don't appreciate when you even say things like that because it will make people think that that's how we think.
But that's what, no, but the reality of it is,
Yeah.
back in the day, the reason why the older folks never used to publicize it is because that was the questions. How many rooms are they sleeping in? Oh, that the people
Well,
make
that-
assumptions.
Yeah. Well, you don't.
That's why.
Yeah. Yes. But okay. So they make the assumption, but when I'm planning my trip or Isaac's planning his trip, we don't have to come and say, "Oh, by the way, it will be 2 rooms or 3 rooms
With a
or one
chaperone.
room."
With a
Or it
chaperone.
doesn't. He doesn't have to. And actually, I had a conversation with Isaac about that this week. About not about that. About something else this week. That a lot of the time we might not agree with something that happens in church, but we pander to it simply because the older folk will say, how many rooms or whatever it is. And we almost constrain ourselves, and after we've constrained ourselves, we then get upset that the church people constrain us. But we've constrained ourselves first.
Ourselves, yeah.
But anyway,
I
so
agree.
yeah,
But
I did.
we are digressing. We are digressing. I will say personally, so I mean, okay, there's going to be a little bit of controversy here, tiny bit, tiny bit.
As
Right.
bad as I know what
So for me, no,
ideas.
because I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, right? Because for me, if I'm the recipient of said flowers or chocolate, even if that's something that happens year after year by my partner, like the small element of controversy is be grateful. Like if your partner keeps getting you the same thing, rather than you being like, oh, Mark's giving me the flowers again, be fools that you're getting the flowers, people don't get. And furthermore, what are you also getting Mark? That's a little bit of controversy.
No, that's fair. Yeah.
And aside from that, what I would say is this, like in terms of ideas, there's many ways in which I believe you can romance a person. It doesn't always have to pertain to the whole chocolates and flowers. I think number one, first and foremost, it should be about the time you spend together. And that could be simply sitting down and doing something like a little fun game or activity where, there's a lot of laughter, there's a lot of getting to know them. So there's games that you can either make up or you can purchase, whereby it's questions talking about things about individuals that you might not already know. What the last thing that made you smile? The last thing that made you smile. Your goal for next week. A book that was life changing for you. Certain things where you're getting to know your person, you're spending time with them. And then there's the other things that you can do where it's like spa days and a vacation where you go away with your person. And you could formulate it in such a way whereby you take away all phones. Once you reach the place, mobile phone, you just put away, turn off your phone. You're there for a night, you're there for a weekend, you're there for an extended weekend, what have you. But no phones allowed. You and your person lock in, and you're able to just focus on each other and to spend quality time with each other. You're able to do things like, well, you can go to the shop and you can get each other um face masks, like you could massage each other. You could go and purchase a professional massage if you want, couples massage. There's different things that I think you can do. You can go and do an escape room. Now, people might think, "No, that's not really romantic," but you're working together. It's teamwork. You're bonding. You're seeing how you work under pressure. So there's various things you can do.
We've got a couple of messages, and you're a bit muffled. Can we, if we lose the headphones, will we still
Hold
hear
on,
you?
I'll do that. Yeah, bear with me.
Because even that "bear with me" sounded a bit clearer. That was good.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
there we go.
perfect. That's what we need. We don't need those fandanga. Let me just I like some of the things that you brought up there. I like some of the things you brought up, but I've got a message here from Martin Filbert. I'm just going to read it. Interesting that the feast day of the 3rd century saint, canonized by the Catholic Church, is celebrated and dissected by a church that once celebrated its roots, Protestant separation from Roman rite and secular celebration. Just an observation. So I think the point Martin is making there is that it was the feast of a 3rd century saint of the Catholic Church, and we as a Protestant church are still celebrating it. Just an observation. Okay, Martin.
Oh, can we just love and just
No, we
piggyback
can.
off the day of love?
No, we can.
And forget where it came from.
No, we can. But interesting point there, Martin, is that what we were even speaking about last week was we were taking, like how at Christmas we Ellen White said, take the opportunity now at Christmas to talk about Christ because people are more open to it. So in the same vein, we were taking the opportunity to talk about love and romance. But certainly, I would like to say that our conversation is broader than just Friday. So I was bragging that I've got a hot date on Friday. Yes, but so we're still talking about love and romance broader than this Friday. I'll be interested to know, Martin, if because of all of the hype and noise around Valentine's Day and it coming from the Catholics and as the saints and whatever, would you say that there is a place in Protestantism or I don't know if you're an Adventist or not, but certainly you're obviously a Protestant because you made that point. Would you say that there is a place for romance in Christian relationships? So you can come back to me on that. And on Isaac's point, I just wanted to say what I got from Isaac's point was brilliant. Is that he talked about just spending time playing games. He could do, and if he brings flowers, and it's fine. It was all about spending time together. And I like the fact of laughter because one of the notes that I made was that anything that generates a smile, I think is romantic. It generates a smile. And there is nothing wrong with bringing flowers again. Me personally, I would like to keep myself on my toes. I'd like to not settle. So it's nice to maybe bring some flowers, yes, but I know for me, Mark Gray, and everybody will be different, that I wouldn't want to settle. I would be upset if you didn't appreciate my flowers if I brought them. But for myself, I would just like to know that I did something else. I kept you on your toes. You could never just predict this is how our romantic weekend would be.
So I will agree with that. And I'll also add to that. And I think for a lot of people, for some people, they always equate romance with money and financial and I think the thing that Isaac said that for me that stuck out was spending time.
Yeah.
So that's why when you said the thing about the theater, I quickly jumped up and said, no, because I think theater, cinema, you're in a spot where you're meant to be focused on what's in front of you.
Yeah.
And I think when you go somewhere where you can talk or you can converse or you can or it's okay to speak. Because if you're in
Yeah.
the cinema talking, for example,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
people get annoyed.
Well, I'd be annoyed if you're talking, I'm watching the film.
Listen,
100%. I'm the same.
But-
Don't talk to me. I'm not there for you.
I'm not there for you. We're going to have a hot, but I'm not there for you. It's James Bond, man.
so for me, it's always, and I think I said this last week in terms of
Yeah.
it's about the detail. It's
Yeah.
about the have you been listening to some of the things I've been saying to you or the conversations we've been having?
Yeah.
And it's not a thing of, oh, I'm trying to impress, but actually the simplest things, the fact that we went and we had cucumber sandwiches while looking over the Thames at the docks, and there's no docks in the Thames, I know, but I'm just saying there's just the simple things, but it doesn't always equate to money
No,
or
it should.
financial. So
No.
we could go to Paris.
Yeah.
But it's not about because we've gone to all the expensive places and
No,
you've taken me
no,
up the Eiffel Tower.
No.
It could just be literally because we jumped on the Eurostar at 6 o'clock in the morning,
And it was
and
different.
at 11 o'clock we're on our way back
Yeah,
to London.
yeah. Oh, really?
And we've had a day of just
Yeah.
we haven't spent £100 on anything.
Yeah.
We're literally, and it's just thinking about that little thoughtful thing
I
that
love
says
it.
to someone, you mean a lot to me, without actually having to go above and beyond.
All right.
And that's me. I'm a simple
I-
Joe the C type of love
Okay.
with a little bit of
Hey,
love.
Martin,
good
I
to
see.
see.
I see your comment. I'm going to read it now, but I've just got to say this. So I'm going to fly back because I'm going to ask Isaac about something we spoke about last week. And I talked about that I'm a romantic person, and I didn't think that romance always had to deal with wanting to win someone, wanting to then develop into some kind of intimate relationship with someone. And I thought that would still be a romantic gesture. So I said, Charlie was talking about, if she likes Sharon fruit, I said, well, if she can't get Sharon fruit near where she lives, and I get Sharon fruit near where I live, when I go to visit her and we're just mates, we're not intimate, we're just mates, I could bring her a Sharon fruit. And I think it's a romantic gesture because, and she's saying, no, what that could do, that could make her think that I want more than that in a relationship. And I'm saying, if you think that, just ask me because we're already friends. So we kind of got sidetracked for about 20 minutes of the show last week. I'm saying it's fine. She was saying it's not quite fine. But one sec. Oh, I'm just about to cough here. Sorry.
He's trying to set me up, right? That's what he's trying to do right now with this comment he's about to make. But can I just say?
So I just wanted to say, Isaac, that I just brought a Sharon fruit for Sharon fruit for Charlie, Sharon fruit, because we're friends, and I think it's a romantic gesture. And I would like to let you have this Sharon fruit because where I live, I pass Sharon fruit all the time, and I know you love Sharon fruit. Is that okay?
I am selfish.
Will you accept it?
I don't share men, so you can't keep.
Charlie says she don't share men, so she don't want my Sharon fruit.
Take your Sharon fruit home to your wife, who will enjoy it.
She doesn't like
nicely.
Sharon fruit.
Well, not my bag.
All right, all right. You see, that's it.
Interesting.
And look, and we'll still be friends because we talked about it. She doesn't want to accept it. We talked about it, and we're fine. Let me catch up with Martin because Martin, I've not seen Martin join us before, and he's made some comments, and I want to keep him included. So he made that. So I asked the question, and he said, "We also fall prey to rank commercialism and elevated pricing for everyday goods and services if we anchor romance to February 14th." 100%. But as Charlie rightly said, and Isaac, that it could just be time spent together talking about what are our goals, laughing. And Charlie said we could go on a little trip, a train journey, could go on a car journey, just a drive to Box Hill, just a little drive around somewhere. And it's not about the money. But And that's why I was really trying to broaden the word romance. I was trying to because we defined it last week as just a gesture that is that triggers excitement and mystery and is surrounded by love. And if you've got those three things in it, I think it's romantic. I think it's a romantic gesture. Martin said his third comment says, love is the principle. Love is the principle. Romance is one form of expression of that love. If it happens once a year, the relationship is in deep trouble. 100%, 100%, 100% agree with you there, Martin.
But you know what? Can I put my heart on my sleeve and say I struggle when
Turning down my Sharon fruit.
Oh, now you're holding against me. You see?
I'm not
That's
holding
what
it
I was
against you.
saying.
I'm not
Anyway,
holding it against you.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not holding it against you.
You know what I struggle with?
My own Sharon fruit.
No, I'll eat it later.
Off air.
I struggle with when some people say, "Oh, I don't follow Valentine's Day. It's commercial." I get it. Christmas is commercialized to me. But I think it's still a nice time of the year to acknowledge gift giving,
Yeah.
being around family.
Agreed.
I know, yes, if I buy roses on any time this week, you're paying triple for the roses. However, it's a nice time to acknowledge love and what love could be and what love means and what love should mean. So I think to just take it back into the depths of
to just dismiss it.
Dismiss it. I think we're losing out on a great opportunity because actually maybe this will form a conversation because you know sometimes you think you're romantic or you think you're showing love to that person around you and you bring up a conversation around this time of the year and then you find out actually they actually don't think you're romantic. They actually think you're like stone and you're cold and you don't show them anything. And they actually find it difficult to love you because they're not getting anything back from you. So maybe that's an opportunity to then to start something new.
You got some messages there. So is there one before this?
You know, I think this was Dawn, they were laughing about you not being easy. They were talking about Isaac's, couldn't hear him, and then Mark, you're not easy. And then Yvonne says, who is romantic? Is there a different levels? Because verbal communication is lacking. So the vexation kotai will need to be used. Sorry.
No, I don't. No, I don't get
roller
that.
coaster stairs off. Sorry, Isaac.
No, don't carry on. I'll jump in after you finish reading them.
No, that's it. That's it.
Okay. I think what we also so going back to the point you made, not this last point you made, Charlie, but the point previously, you said something about it's not about trying to win the other, and I would slightly disagree. Not that I'm saying you. My ethos when it comes to being selfless is I should always have your back. You're my partner, I should always have your back. In other words, I'm always trying to ensure that I'm protecting you, looking after you, loving on you, caring for you. Essentially, I'm always trying to win you. Vice versa, I think my partner should always be trying to do the same things for me. It's a complete cycle that way, right? So I do think that you should actually try to win your other. Not that you're trying to prove anything to them, but you're always why would you not want them smiling all the time? Why would you not want them happy all the time? Why would you not want them in the best version of themselves all the time? And if you have the opportunity to provide that, yeah, do it. So that's what I'm saying to that. What I'm saying to the point on being romantic, and there was a comment that you just now read, I would say that a lot of people, again, expecting to be romanced. I would actually ask the question of, when else was you romantic? Like, have you recently or even ever loved on your person? A lot of people expect all of the love to be shone on them. And even if we think about Valentine's Day, right, and the commercialized side of it, it is heavily aimed towards women, right? We can see that it's very clear. It's heavily aimed towards women, right? And I would say that men also love to be appreciated and loved. So if you're the one always receiving, whether you be the male or the female, stop to think about your person. How can I love on you? What is it that I can do to be romantic towards you? Like you mentioned, Charlie, I think that was a great question or a great point you made about, oh, are you even romantic? I've spoken to people that say they're romantic. Woo! No, you're not. Like, what makes you think you're romantic? You're not.
Because I brushed my hair to the
What,
side.
what you are, what you are, or what you have been, or what I've experienced from your words. And I'm not even talking about people I've dated. I'm talking about like I've got close friends that talk to me about this, right? And what they are is they've got great ideologies of what romance is. So they believe they're romantic, but you've not romanced anybody. So
Yeah,
how do you
yeah.
qualify as someone that's romantic? Anyone can come up with all of the stuff you're saying. Anyone can action what you're saying. Actually action it, and then you can tell me that yeah, you're romantic. But that's just my shit.
But it's the same thing about being like self-reflective. There's all these buzzwords that are out.
Martin says he's got to run, but he says he does tune in often on Facebook. So, all right, Martin, you got to run. Yeah, catch up with the show later. He'll be on the page. Come in and see later. Thanks for tuning in. Go.
There's so many different buzzwords that are out, like misogynistic and narcissistic, and it's like everyone is waiting for an opportunity just to slide that into a conversation. And yes, because I'm reflective, because I think about myself and others. But when you really break it down, what I found is people, they don't actually understand what any of these words mean. Yeah, but they think they know how to use them, so they use them. And B, something like being self-reflective means you have to do work on yourself. And most people haven't done any work on themselves whatsoever, but because they think they spare a thought, they think that makes them self-reflective. And it's that thing up in terms of sometimes you have to breathe your breath into someone's face for them to say to you, no, you need to brush your teeth. For you to sometimes even realize who you are, and how often are we willing to actually do that? How often are we willing for someone to say to us, well, Mark, you think you're romantic, but actually, I find your man quite selfish. Whoa, what do you mean by that? Then giving him a constructive, well, actually, if you had, and having a conversation, and it's not being a conversation which I'm trying to tell you about yourself, or I'm expecting you to walk away from it feeling bad, is actually having an adult conversation in terms of, this is my experience, this is why I feel this way. And then at the end of it, hopefully coming to a resolve where you can say, right, well, okay, so actually I might be able to be better at this because.
But isn't that romance by numbers? I mean, we're going to get onto difficult people to love in a minute, but isn't that romance by numbers? Like, okay, it's nice to affirm people, and some people just like to be affirmed, and some people need to be affirmed. We
all do. We all do.
We
all need to be affirmed.
But in the you do, but in the way that Charlie just said, I feel that I'm romantic and I'm whatever it is, bringing flowers or doing whatever it is I'm doing, and she said, well, no, that's not. Let's sit down and have a conversation about how you could be more romantic. Isn't that romance by numbers? Does that actually work? I don't think that works.
But you know what? And I hate everyone now wants to talk about what's your love language. Yeah, and I kind of hate that.
Why did you say it with that tone of voice?
Because that's how it feels like. Because everybody wants. You say, "What's your love language?" And they say something like, looking in the air. That's not a love language. But they're now trying to make up their own love languages. Anyway, I walk past from that bugbear of mine. What was I saying now?
I don't know.
What did you say?
You got stuck on the
romance by numbers. Romance by numbers.
Romance by numbers. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? And it's like it's. Oh no, I've forgotten the point.
You see, because you was trying to
that love language thing.
Wait, but I want to jump in on that though. I want to jump in on that because you're asking, isn't that romance by numbers? Like, say, I don't know if you are saying it's a problem, but I'll just say, even if it's romance by numbers, I believe there's always a starting point to learning, right? And if learning is by doing something, remember, they say 21 days for something to become a habit, right? So if you're doing this thing over and over and you have to intentionally tell yourself, ah, this is what my person says they like. This is what they appreciate. Da-da-da. And then you're doing it by numbers, but then it becomes who you are. What's wrong with that? Then becomes who you are, and naturally you grow into that, and it becomes innate in you. And then do you know what you can do? You can be the best teacher to your children of how to be romantic, how to show love, how to receive love. Do you know there's even another problem here that we're not even spoken on? Some people can't receive love. They can't receive compliments.
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold on.
no, we've got
If
got
I-
that.
if
We're gonna
was-
get there. We're gonna get there.
Okay,
No, no.
okay. Let me not jump in. Let me not jump in.
No,
My point is,
So,
right? So my point is, even if someone is romantic by numbers, as long as it's something they're learning from, and more than learning from, they're actually actively putting in the effort to try, but can't be ignored here. Because so many times, words, advice, requests, information falls on deaf ears. So if someone's able to listen to the information that's being delivered to them, and they can actively turn that, even if it's romance by numbers, I'll take it. As long as you're authentically trying and you're not just trying to tick a box and you're actually not even engaged when we're in the event, whether it be going for a walk down to a river, going for a hike, taking a day trip abroad, taking a weekend to drive up to somewhere in the Midlands like Devon, beautiful, picturesque views, going to Wales. You don't like wherever you do, or wherever you go, sorry, or whatever you do, as long as you're in the moment. Because one of the worst things for me is being present physically but feeling alone.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
feel alone in that room. You can feel alone in that space.
that's
So
not
I
good.
don't mind the whole being romance by numbers. I think it's absolutely fine as long as they're present.
and I think,
And you're growing. I like the growing.
Growing, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let me shout out the number. Oh no, go on. I don't want you to forget again. Go on.
I think the thing to remember, sometimes we are programmed in relationships. Yeah. So I may do because I know you like flowers.
Yeah.
I may buy you loads and loads of flowers all the time. And so you get used to someone else, but then you have to remember and I know we're not talking about multiple relationships, but sometimes you'll have people used to doing something in a certain relationship or a certain space. And when you change spaces, that person may not be as receptive
To
as
that
to
particular
that
thing.
particular thing.
Yeah.
So for example, you may buy someone loads of flowers, and you might meet someone else and they might be allergic to flowers.
Or they just might not.
Or
That just might not be their thing.
that may not be their thing.
Their
So they will
thing.
prefer, if you buy them chocolate, they're gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's also, and I think that's why it's fluid, and you need to be willing to understand what gives people a certain response. Is understanding what, because sometimes it's a certain response you want. Or and that response is to see them happy. We spoke about
So
that
you
last
see them
week.
happy, yeah.
So you want to see someone happy. So you do that thing that will give you that special smile, and that smile can last you for weeks.
Of course.
Because you hit that spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was the point that I liked. I liked when we were asking at the beginning there, what sort of things can we do? We didn't just come up with a list of the theatre, the cinema, It was what I liked when Isaac said that it's essentially it's just time spent together. So, and without your phone, in the moment, something that would generate laughter, even if you're just talking about goals, because that's how I will know. That's how I will know what it is I then need to do to appear romantic, to be romantic to you, because the whole point of me being romantic is to see you smile, is to generate happiness in you. But
And for me, the
Yeah.
music has to be involved as well.
okay,
So it has to be-
you're just letting me know.
No, not letting you know.
So when I gave you
Whoever's
the
listening,
Sharon fruit,
Who's
I
ever
should,
listening out there?
so when I gave you the Sharon fruit, I should have sang as well.
No.
You
Trust
should
me.
have played. You should have played Jodeci for her. Jodeci.
Anyway, let me
You see,
behave myself.
I listen. You see that? You see that? I listen.
Pay
I
attention.
listen. Okay.
That's it. That's what we were saying. Let me
Yeah.
shout out the number because we keep not
Okay,
saying it out.
but if one has no. I want to go. If one has made up point that I would like us to say something.
Yeah.
Should hello Isaac. Nice to hear your your vibration vocals. If you go on YouTube, you can see him too. But right, so our WhatsApp number is 07459 642 898.
One more time.
07459 642 898. You can text us on 82228, write hope, leave a space and then your message, or you can email us at studio@adventusradio.london. Studio@adventusradio.london. Now, if one made a comment, should men are neglected and should our cultural cliques?
Men are neglected. Mhm.
And I think when she said the word cultural, I then thought to myself, is romance culturally led? So, because you know, people say certain types of men or certain types of females are more romantic than others. So people, is it Italian men they say or meant to be romantic?
Yeah,
You know
Italian
what I mean?
men, the Latin,
French,
yeah, all of the Latin
French,
men.
the Latin, yeah, Latin.
I mean, normally on that list, Afro-Caribbean men are normally number 10 at the bottom of the list, but everybody else is at the top. Now, I do not necessarily believe this. So
That's trash.
let me speak on behalf of my brothers, because some of them are very, very romantic, where others them are dull. But is that also, could that potentially be something that's passed down? So because you
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
seen someone be romantic, or you haven't experienced that, or you haven't been brought up around the dynamic of both parents, that understanding of what romance could or should be
Well,
is only seen in a Jason Lyric movie.
no, I'm
Okay, go ahead.
go,
Go ahead.
no, I mean, for me, yeah, you might be right. It might be cultural, and but let's say you're a young man coming up. It's a new world order. It's what globalization. What you have to operate in this new world, in this world that we're in now, you're going to have to be. Yeah, you're gonna have to market yourself. You're gonna have to break out of the confines of what you've had before.
Mhm.
The way to do that is to look around you. If you've never thought about generating happiness and joy in someone else's life, that's where I think the problem is. For any culture and any man from any culture that we would say is not romantic, is because his focus has not been on creating joy in somebody else's life.
Ooh,
Okay, he's got another focus. The other focus might be work. It might be I don't actually have to generate joy in your life to have you as my woman, right? It could be lazy. I don't need to. I bring home the money, or whatever, or yeah, because let's face it. When I was young, I put a lot of
it starts now. You might as well finish the sentence.
We start stammer. Stammer, no. But I mean, the point I'm making is that for me, when I was younger, the whole point of romance was purely to be different from the norm. Or you going to say something else?
Yes.
No. Stay with me,
Intimate.
Stay with me, Charlie. Stay with me, Charlie. The whole point of it was to be different. The whole point of it was to just to rise above the crowd, to be different from the crowd. So if I was just stuck in my culture and say, well, I don't need to do that, man. I don't need to do that, man. That's fine. But you're not creating joy. A person that is with you are settling if you're not actually creating joy. But anyway, let's not stay on. I don't want to stay on that topic for too long.
Come
Yeah,
on.
I also want to piggyback off what you just now said, Mark, and add something else, another facet to that, which is I think another angle is that many people who don't romance their partner, it's also because they've not experienced it for themselves. I think in life, generally speaking, in life, we usually example things that we've learned or that we've experienced in some way. So if you're going back to again that cultural, table 1 to 10, and Afro-Caribbean men are towards the bottom end, maybe for some it's because they've not experienced it to even know how to give it. So you mentioned their parents, they've not experienced it, they've not seen it themselves, the men, they have not experienced it from their partners, what romance is. So they don't know how to, or even think. It's not even that they don't even know how, but they don't even think, like Mark touched on. It's not even in my thought process to say, I need to show my woman X, Y, and Z because I've just never experienced it. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. So I do think there's a point actually regarding the culture. So in Europe, I travel often, and one of my good friends, he's also called Isaac. Mark, you met him.
Yeah.
We travel together often, right? So we travel, and in Europe, culturally, so different, right? And I'm not gonna get in. I'm trying not to get into this whole debate on dates and who pays for what date, all of that, because it's a side topic. But it is culture. In Europe, if you go to Europe, there are many women who just don't care about whether you ask them out on a date first. They literally just, no, you don't foot the bill. Oh, yeah. And it's a cultural thing for them. It's like, oh, I'll just do it. So many men over there in certain parts of Europe experience that. So they're like, wow, they know what it feels like to feel loved, appreciated, etc. Right? So I've got friends that live over there in various parts, whether it be Amsterdam, Italy, France, you name it. And for me, it was a culture shock when I went over there. And I experienced that myself. I was just like, what is this? Like, what do you mean she's paying? It was mind-boggling. But it's what happens. So men experience said unsaid romance, you know? So maybe there is a thing in the Latin world, where because they know what it feels like, they know how to give it better. I don't know. But
But remember, we're saying that romance is, and I must use this as a segue onto the next topic about unlovable people. But romance is about creating an joy in the other person. That's what
yeah,
romance is. So maybe in one culture, creating romance or creating the joy
joy.
is the man paying or one person paying, and maybe in another culture, it's a mixed thing.
Yeah,
The fact of the romance is the joy.
joy.
That's the
Yeah, yeah,
joy of it.
Mm.
It's not the oh grief again.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
the joy, and that's why it's horses for courses.
So let me
Go
just
on.
read a few comments here on YouTube. So good evening, Adam. And then we've got Sharon saying, Mr. Romantic. There are some very romantic Afro-Caribbean men. I love to see kindness in people, and that to me can be very romantic. she says.
Yeah. For different people, it's
But
different.
but I know I don't want to take this way off, but something that came to me when Isaac was just talking was also in terms of who teaches us how to be romantic? Because the reason why I asked that question is because when you were speaking, the thought process that came to me is also similar to when you're talking about intimacy and climaxing in terms of people thinking is a one-sided thing. And some people in their mind, because they're told that within the intimate act, it's just to produce children, it's for reproductive reasons or whatever not, they don't think that they should find that a pleasurable act at all.
yeah,
So based
yeah.
on no one is talking about it, no one is teaching it. So until you have an experience or until someone actually takes the time with you, because there's lots of people in marriages who've never had an orgasm before, who've never don't understand what it is because the whole act of intimacy within their marriage isn't about that. but I don't want to take it there. It's just
but
something that came to my mind.
Yes,
when,
but and on that, and on that, I mean, that is sad. That is not nice. It's not good. It's sad. So I guess what we're saying is that if your goal is to be romantic, then the means to your modus operandi must be to create joy. Now, if you may have been brought up to think, well, the only function of a sexual intercourse is to have children, or we got that. So if we can touch on a couple of the stereotypes, it's to have children, or because my husband's gonna or my partner's gonna want to have his things, his pleasure, and that's it. Then those things in and of themselves don't create joy in the other person. So it's a duty then. It's not a joy, it's a duty. So there could be that, and that might be a whole different show that we can explore that. But what we're really saying is that I want to be romantic. How do I do it? And I think the bottom line is not to create joy in yourself, is to create joy in the other person.
Yes,
and
it's selflessness.
And what Isaac's saying, the point he made earlier, is that your partner should be seeking to do the same thing to take care of your joy. So I've got to ask this question now. So what makes someone unlovable or hard to romance? Now, let's say it's a partner of yours, and you know, I'm always open to be educated, but I'm still of the school of thought that you can be romantic with someone who's not your partner.
You can,
and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
So and that's why I wanted to making that story about the 85-year-old woman that I just wanted to give joy to. But what you do then, if you're finding that maybe the spark has gone, and it is your partner, because I guess if it's not your partner and the spark has gone, you're gone. But let's say or maybe the spark has gone, it's not your partner, but it's someone that you would actually want to have in your life. What are the things that you can do then? How do you reclaim that spark? What can you get up to? I see Charlie's got some notes over there, Isaac. She's gonna hit us with a book.
So before we get to that,
Okay.
my opening line says, love is tough because it requires vulnerability, communication, and compromise.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Now you see, I know Isaac. He's one of them. He's gonna say 3 out of 3, but 2 out of 3
You
ain't
look
bad.
like a vulnerable man. No, let me not say like that. I don't mean it like that. I mean like no, but I mean that you don't mind being vulnerable. I don't mean that you're vulnerable.
You're correct. You're very correct. I don't mind being vulnerable.
Real man.
So
Listen, man, he's a man of the 2000s. I'm a man of the 80s. All right. It's all right, Isaac. We have our own. We got a show within a show. It's okay. We've got a own show. No, go on.
So the question is, what makes someone unlovable?
Yeah. So what makes them unlovable? So I want to link with that.
Yeah.
You're finding them unlovable, but it's someone that you want still around. You don't want to walk away from.
Oh yeah. All right. So I'm going to answer the second part first. I'll answer the second part first. If you want someone to still be around, I don't think it's a case of you trying to shower them with love anymore. I think the first part that's important is understanding why they've gone. You need to understand where's the disconnect, where did you lose them, or even where did they lose you? You need to understand the aspects of the breakdown. It might be something that is repairable. It might be something that needs counseling and therapy. It might be something that, behavior changes or just understanding that it's the way that you've loved them, whilst you believe you're giving love, whether it be the love languages that you don't like to speak on, or it's just something that you do. The reality is they may not be receiving what you've done because that's not what they associate love with. So you need to understand what you've been doing, if it's worked or if it hasn't, and why hasn't it. You got to communicate.
My scenario is that it had been working. My scenario is that we've been.
But some things have a timeline, Mark. Some things have a timeline. And whilst it might have been working for the first 5 years, year 6, it might have dwindled. A candle always goes out. Yeah, it's a light for so long. But if you're not changing it up, if you're not amending it, if you're not adjusting it, if you're not adapting slowly but surely, smallest of things, you know, the smallest of things, there's going to be an issue at one point, right? So you need to understand that to keep things alive, to keep a spark, sometimes it just takes a simple thing called spontaneity. It doesn't need to be something planned. It's a spontaneous, you know, it's a surprise, not only for your partner, but also for yourself, because you don't know how your partner's going to react to what you're involved in now, right? That's what I'll say to that second part. To the first part of what do you do if someone's unlovable? Mad.
Has become unlovable. Not that you
Okay.
meet someone and they're awful. Yeah.
If someone's become unlovable, okay, I'm gonna be 100% there, right? If I'm involved with someone who I believe is unlovable, I'm gone. I'm not even messing around with you.
Has become
Oh, Mark, I heard you. I heard you. They've become unlovable. Then I'm not there. Why am I wasting time? I no longer have love for you. I no longer have the same love that I used to have for you. So why am I now
So
wasting
you
time?
still
Which is
have
the
the
most
same love.
valuable.
In my scenario, you still have that love, and you're finding that the things that you used to do don't work. You can't reach her anymore. You can't
Okay.
get
So like I said, that's why I answered it back to front. The things that I answered first, where I said I'm going to do all of these things, therapy, try and understand, try to basically decipher what the issue was. Be my first point of God. After trying, if my efforts are not working and not wasting the most important currency in this world, I'm going to continue to find in madness and wasting time. Mark, Isaac Fletcher, will be gone. Simple. Listen, I'm not here wasting time on a lady that's no longer receiving my love. She's no we're unable to work things out and to understand where we've fallen apart. What for? What for? There's other women out there that I can try and build with. There's other men that she can try and build with. We obviously aren't for each other, because the one thing that I do not want to ever be, right, and I pray to God that it will not be my portion, is in an unhappy marriage. So at the end of the day, if I'm dating this young lady, if she's my fiance, but we are not even married yet, I will try those things. Up until that point, if it doesn't work, she will not be coming down no aisle with me. I'm gone.
So, all right. I don't know if this is across the board, because when I'm phrasing this question for a situation where you're in the relationship, and I know I don't want you to say, yeah, I heard you, because I want to make sure that you're in the same scenario as me, because I'm saying
Okay.
you're in a relationship, and what you're finding is that the efforts for romance or of romance are just not happening. So you're not doing the walks, you're not doing the trips, you're not doing the evenings out, you're not doing the flowers. You know, not that you're having a row or you're it's not that I no longer love her, she no longer loves me. You're just finding that spark, that excitement, that those things are not happening. People often say, you know, after the children come, but it could be long before the children come. It's just whatever.
Complacency. It sounds like complacency.
So what I'm saying, so really my question is, oh, the way I wanted to deal with the question was in a situation where you want to win, you still want to win, and your
Mm.
partner wants to win, but it's become stale and complacent. What are some of the ideas? What are some of the things you can do to reignite?
But I think Isaac said so in terms of the counseling, I mean, he will try different things to bring about change, whether it's for himself or for both of you. Because sometimes you think it's the other person really is you, or something you think it's
Yeah,
you is the
yeah.
so he said all the time, but he said ultimately, if after putting in all those work and all those efforts,
No,
he
we're
said,
not reached there yet.
no, but he's saying he put in all
Yeah.
that work.
Mm.
But after putting in all that work, if there's no change and the feeling is not shifting, he said if he's not married, you know what I mean? If he's married, then because this is not he's saying I'm gonna give up at the first hurdle. This is
No.
saying fighting for it. Can I also read some comments that have
Yes,
come in?
please.
So Gwyneth has asked, does Isaac still have the same stance if they're married and have children?
Okay, good question. I was waiting for this as well.
Hold on, can I just say we have Yvonne that's flickering between YouTube and Instagram so she can see what you look like. She wanted me to say that.
She knows what it looks like.
Okay.
Oh, go on,
Okay,
go on.
so I think it's important. I think it's important that obviously I don't answer this to say one brush will fit everyone, right? Because I don't think there's one answer to this. If there are if it's in a marriage, I definitely think you need to continue to fight a lot harder than be able to just say I'm walking away. That's why I mentioned if I'm that's why I mentioned if she's my fiance, and I didn't say if she's my wife, because there is a difference. If she's my wife, I'm going to continue fighting harder. I've made the commitment when we said our vows. I made the commitment when we tied the knot. So I'm not going to walk away as easily and as readily if she's my wife. I do also now think where children are involved, for me personally, I think it's a dangerous game when people often say, I'm fighting for this marriage for the children. I actually think there's a huge detriment there. I've worked in education for 16 years, and I've seen many children grow up in horrible households, and children are not dumb. They can sense the energy. They can sense the fact that there is no love. They can sense that the fact that this is a very unhealthy place to be. And there's so much detriment to those kids that sometimes the best thing you can do is separate, split, do what you need to do, get your divorce, co-parent. So I don't necessarily think in a marriage with children it's better. Obviously, every marriage and every situation is going to be different. So I'm not trying to say it is an answer for every marriage with children. I'm just saying be careful. If you always think that fighting for the marriage because of the children, it's in my opinion, I think it's dangerous. But I don't necessarily have this. Yvonne, I will not say my answer, which was so much more cutthroat prior to marriage and children, would be the same if you was in a marriage. No, it's not the same. I still would fight more. Well, even with children, I would still fight more, by the way. I'm not saying because children are there to run. No, still fight more, but just don't be trying to fight because of the children, is what I'm saying. You should be trying to fight because you're married
And
and
for
you
me,
want the marriage.
for me, the key thing there is that I'm not trying to paint a scenario where we're flogging the dead horse. What I'm saying is you're together,
Yeah.
but there's no magic.
Mm.
What are some of the ideas? So what okay, what
Can
I
read
wrote
some
down.
comments? Can I
Yeah,
read some comments?
yeah, go on then.
Okay, so Gwyneth has come back and said, I agree, but she wanted to hear a male perspective. Sometimes the children are hurt more by staying together than if couples separate, which you mentioned. Then I've got Yvonne saying, if faith is the bedrock, it is clear marriage is for life, despite being unhappy. So leaving should not be an option. So can happiness come back? And then she asked that as a question.
Okay.
Hold on. Can we, let me just
Yeah,
get,
but if you read the next comment, then we will forget this comment. But go on. All right, go on, read that one.
yeah. Okay,
I like to deal with them as they come up.
sorry. So then we've got Angela. Hi, Angela. Thank you for messaging in, because communication is essential. Are the couples talking regularly, or daily? Are they able to talk about intimate matters? If they have not been speaking about their relationship from the beginning, it's not going to suddenly be something that they can do after 6 years, and they find they're struggling with their relationship, which feels stuck.
Yeah.
They both need to feel safe and secure enough to be open and honest, or they're not going to be able to share what they feel is missing. May need someone to help them, such as a mentor, counselor, or spiritual advisor.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. I didn't agree so much with Yvonne. And I think that's really been a hard thing. Although I really wanted us to be discussing the person that the couple that really wanted to make it work. But just to address your point there, Yvonne, we talk about faith and then we say, so if you're married, then that's it, you're locked. And I think that is not God's ideal, that you live in a loveless, abusive relationship. I don't think that's God's ideal. And I think that we have misunderstood his ideal when he made the point, don't just go and divorce your wife and say, I divorce you, just because you just, you just want to move on. He's saying, no, respect and honor this marriage. But a marriage that is abusive, I mean, I know of at least personally of at least quarter dozen to half a dozen times when people have stayed and got head fracture, beaten up and all of that, and you can't advocate staying in an abusive, loveless marriage. You cannot. Yeah, God, you were going to come in, Isaac?
Yeah, I want to also say, because obviously Yvonne didn't mention anything to do with abuse, but I do agree with what you're saying, Mark. But I wanna even strip it down without the physical abuse and say it's still abuse if you're in a marriage with someone and they're not loving on you and they're withholding love from you.
Yeah, that's
They're
abusive.
That's abusive. And listen, that's exactly why I want to talk on it, because I know automatically when we hear the word abuse, we do think physical, but there's psychological, there's emotional, there's mental abuse. And if you're in a marriage with
Spiritual.
someone, if you're in a marriage with someone and they're not loving on you, and it's all now become me, I, you're abusing your partner. You are actually abusing your partner. So
Yeah.
I just want to be clear there that I definitely agree with what you're saying, Mark. I definitely agree. But Mark, oh sorry.
No. Go on, sir.
Um, on the point of your actual question as well, where male and female lost the spot, but you essentially what you're saying is they both want this back.
Yeah.
They
What
both
I'll
want
say,
this back.
what are some of the root? What's the route back? Some of the ideas to get it back. That's where I was going initially, but
Yeah,
go on.
I think at the end of the day, if both of them are still intending to find said love again and to find the spark, and for whatever reason it's gone and they don't understand it, but they both ultimately want it back. The things I mentioned, as long as they're both engaged in trying, putting in the effort, being spontaneous or being open to said spontaneity from the other person, continuing to exercise what selflessness is and loving on their person, seeking out therapy to understand where did it go wrong for me or for them. I think that spark will come back slowly but surely. But they both have to believe in it.
No, go on.
But I think that thing of both wanting it is key.
Oh yeah,
Because I
yeah.
think
That's my premise.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I think there's times where
Yeah.
one person wants it and the other
Yeah,
person is
that-
switched off,
That's not even
or whatever
yeah.
else it is. But I think if you're both looking down the same road saying it's difficult, it's hard, but I'm not ready yet. But the other thing is I'm very big on words and actions aligning, because there's some people who like the concept of marriage more than the actual marriage itself. So they love No, but within the no, but even
I want to be married, but I'm not.
those people are saying, "Oh, my husband," just to be able to say my husband's gonna come and pick me up. Yeah, he's gonna send an Uber for you, my love. You know what I mean? But some people love the premise of it. So they're not even fighting for the love of their life. They're fighting for a title. They're fighting to be able to say, oh, my husband and I are going on holiday. Oh, I'll just ask my husband if you the man is not a lick interested in you. But yet you just want the concept. So if you think back to some of the older generations, a lot of them were in marriages with individuals who had no interest in them at all. There were a lot of people in marriages that they were one was thinking left, one was thinking right. But because at that time, socially, being divorced was such a big thing, it was, you know what I mean? So many people, there's people who still wore wedding rings after they hadn't seen their husbands in years. What was that about?
True. That's another show though. Because no, no, it
I
is
know,
because
but sorry,
because
it's gonna be loud.
I 100% agree with you, but I'm batting tonight for the guys that want it. So
Yeah.
the guys, and I know that there are guys that don't want it. Or, when I
Yeah.
say guys, couple, the guy and girl, they don't want it, or they're one wants it and one doesn't, or one wants just the title. I know, and we can explore those, but I'm trying to like okay. When
So
I asked the question, the word that I've got written down here that I wanted to, and maybe we've said it in that just used a different word. I I was just rekindle curiosity is what I written down.
okay.
Rekindle curiosity. That maybe you'd use different words, but just rekindle curiosity. Let it be generate good grief. What just happened?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you get it. To me, that's how you get it back. If someone's hard to love, there is something, and maybe when you met them and were going with them first, they were easier. If they were always hard to love, then I'm with Isaac, man. What are you doing? This is hard work. But I'm going with, let's say, you found after a while that they're hard to love, but you know within you that you both want it, but you just not doing it. Then I would say rekindle the curiosity. So that's what my tip would be. Start doing the things that I think one of you two used the word spontaneous or spontaneity earlier on, but
Yeah.
rekindle curiosity, because that je ne sais quoi is what romance is all about.
What's that?
Je ne sais quoi.
Oh, who that?
That's the Jamiroquai. So
I don't speak that language.
that's what it's all about. So that's what I was gonna say. So if you find someone is hard to love and it's someone you want to be with or you're with, then I would say definitely you've got to rekindle the curiosity and
Mark,
get the
Mark,
go on.
vulnerability. Because you know what? Why? What is that barrier for that person? You know what I mean? What is it? What is it? And I mean, it's asking that question and them answering you honestly. Because I think if they don't answer you honestly, then that's your
You see, the problem I have with that bit of advice is you're saying that you ask me a question and I must answer you honestly, right? Or I ask you a question and you answer me honestly. I'm saying that I need to do something. Now, if I'm doing it and it's not working, then leave or end or do something else. But I think it's hard or wrong or not wrong. I just can't see that the first thing I'm going to do is say, Charlie, this isn't working. So I need to ask you, why isn't it working? What's going on in your life that is wrong? Or what's wrong in my life even that you see is wrong? I think that I should be creating the spontaneity. I should be creating the curiosity.
Oh, okay.
I should be coming back with the acts of romance. Now, if those fall flat, then I know that I can't rekindle it. But I think to sit there and say, Charlie, I need an honest answer. What's going on in your life? Or I need an honest answer. What are all the faults you find in me? I don't think that that is a route to romance.
Yeah.
That's
But
personal.
so I agree with that last bit, Mark. It's not necessarily a route to romance, but it's actually a beginning to the change. I genuinely actually. So before when Charlie was saying it, I was like, yeah, might be vulnerable. Actually, I'm going to side with her and say I do think it's probably the better starting point than trying to romance someone. All right, let's think about this, right? Let's think about something. We've all been in some form of a relationship, right? So it doesn't necessarily need to be a romantic relationship where, for whatever reason, the love that is or was there has gone. If there's some form of disliking towards this person because of something, and that disliking doesn't need to be hate, you might just not want to like spending time with them, like doing the things that you used to do with them, right? Why am I now going to be receptive to their efforts before we've actually discussed, understood, and tried to deal with the problem that is causing the barrier? So if you do get asked that question of what's changed, or how are you actually feeling, or what is it that I've done, what is it that you're not doing, if you ask them difficult questions, now can take on the chance to be accountable and either tell you the truth about yourself or tell you the truth about themselves, then you can actually try, after dealing with the issue, to start reinventing the spark. But I do not think, for the life of me, any spark is going to be had with the majority of humanity on this here earth. When there's a blockage. If someone does not appreciate you anymore, why are they going to be receptive to your words? Why are they going to be receptive to your gestures? Why are they going to be receptive to your time? They won't. They don't care. Because for some reason, whether it be hurt or disengagement of some sort or whatever, they're not present. Remember earlier I spoke about being in a room with someone but feeling alone in that room. You're in a state where you believe you've put in X amount of effort to your partner, and for whatever reason, your partner has, in your opinion at least, given small effort. But now you're away on this Valentine's Friday, and your partner wants you to still be giving all of this effort, and all they've done is turn up. They've just turned up to the thing that you planned, prepared, put together, and they're just now physically there. And now they're asking you, oh, why are you in the mood? Why? Yeah, no, you might be there, but they're no longer there because they've tried. So now that you're there and Mark, they're doing what you've spoken about, you're there and they've picked up your foot and they've tried to massage your foot. They don't even want your hands on their feet. You've run them a bath in your little vacation. They don't even want to step in the water that you've ran for them. In fact, they want to empty it and be petty and refill it in their own water. Because you know what? Because you know what? They'd appreciate their own efforts. And as much as we can make jokes of it, the reality is when there is a blockage, no one's receptive. Very few will be receptive. So I 1000% I actually agree with Charlie. I 1000% agree. I would not, Mark, I love you, but I'm sorry. The small efforts of trying to create spark, it's gonna fall. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time.
Got a few comments in. Can I just read
Okay,
through the
yes,
comments?
please, yes, please.
Right. So we've got Gwyneth said the phrase of what it took to get me is what it will take to keep me is applicable here. And it works both ways. Then we've got here, I said about that. Ruth says, yeah, marriage should be for life through thick or thin. It's not always going to be easy. Abusive marriages is definitely a no-no. And then Satan is attacking relationships, marriages, it is harder to be with someone long term.
Yes.
So, and then everyone said she agrees with Ruth's last point as well.
Mhm.
And then we've got a few comments from Angela.
Mhm.
And they read, right, the route back to the spark is to go on a date, do something fun they haven't tried before, do something interactive, such as going to an activity center where they can relax, laugh, and not need to be serious. Maybe the spark is there, just needs to have a laugh again, as they may have been under a lot of stress due to the job that they do or spending a lot of time apart because of work.
Yeah.
You cannot build a secure relationship if you're not spending enough time together. Have fun, laughing out loud, do what you did on a date that you did before marriage. Find that again and go from there. Then she also continues to say, have a date night regularly after you have children, or get a babysitter and go away for one night somewhere where you can focus on each other without being parents. Need to meet your needs as well as the children. Yes.
I agree. I agree because yeah, I do agree, and I'm really coming from the premise that these are a couple. These are two people that really want it for each other, and the spark is missing. So I've got a little note here that says, when you find yourself in that situation, looking at a partner or a friend or someone in a relationship, a wife or whatever it might be, and you think that they're really hard to love, something's happened. I've got a note here that says, take a quick look in the mirror because you're probably very difficult to love too. And that is what might be part of the barrier, the blockage that Isaac's referring to, that you could also be over this period of time. You've lost your own spark, the things that made you happy or the things that made you an interesting person. You've lost that. And I've got a note here that says, be prepared to pray about it. If you're a couple of faith, be prepared to pray about it if it's something that you both want, but you find it's going stale and you want to explore how to navigate out of it. Be prepared to invite God to be part of that relationship. And the person here actually says this might be a lot harder than it seems because you might not want to pray honestly. You're now praying and she's kneeling there next to you and you're thinking, oh, bless us all, Lord, amen. But so it might.
Or she's praying that something fall on your head there, Father.
Yeah.
So I get a payout of my insurance.
So yeah, but so the author here says that might not be just so easy to do, but if it's something that you both want, you're people of faith, and you really want this relationship to work, but the spark has gone, consider praying about it. But they a lot of the comments from, because I've got a lot of different authors I just pulled notes from, and a lot of them are saying it's for loving and romancing and keeping the romance going, you've got to keep being spontaneous. You can't settle, and that has always been my thing. That has always been my fear, my thing, my issue, my modus operandi. That you just don't settle. You don't just. You're going. You got a comment? Go on.
Comments coming. It says raising children and parenting is hard, and this could be the reason why the spark has gone. Your parents, has gone. Your parents, but no longer a couple. To rediscover your identity as a couple may be what's needed. But can I just say, the having kids is a symptom, not the problem, if that can make sense. Because it's for those who don't have children, they still at times may have the same issue.
Yeah.
So actually, what is it? Is it the fact that work has changed? What has changed that has brought about change to the face of your relationship or your marriage? So it could be something as someone has died and you're not grieving properly, or and sometimes it could be something that I don't feel you're being supportive of me through this time, this difficult time. You know, there's sometimes that in within a relationship, you have, I'm going through, you come home every day, you talk about your job, and when the moment I start talking about my job, you want to watch football.
Mm.
And that's an issue because I want to talk to you, and then it's never dealt with. So you continuously go through the motion, and then it becomes this big thing. And you and what is the root of it? I'm not being heard. Because every time I go to speak, I don't get an opportunity to. And then you hold on to that, and then it becomes this poison chalice that you're keeping hold of. So it's actually whatever the issue is that is about actually identifying what the root cause is. What is the issue? Why is it? And that's what I'm saying. You can throw, as Isaac was saying, you can throw money at it, you can throw all this stuff at it. Let's go on more holidays. But actually, people go on holiday and they don't even talk on holiday. One person goes to the pool, one person's playing and they don't see each other for the whole holiday.
Have the book and just sitting there.
Or the problem is sometimes for many, going on holiday just creates a false sense of like accomplishment in the sense that, oh, you go on holiday and essentially you're on a high, but you're only going to come back to the drama. So the level that you was on before, you may surpass that and be on the high, but when you come back, you're going to plummet further than what you was down before because of the high that you're already on. So deal with it before even the holiday.
Hold on, Isaac. And it's the same when people say, you know what? We're really hating each other right now. You know what we should do? Let's have a baby. That's gonna make it better. Same difference.
No,
No.
do they still say that? I know they used to in the old days.
Or they're trying to trap them. But anyway, that's a totally different story. But you know what?
That's another show, that is.
But it's that whole thing of being on that high. You do something that causes this false sense of we're okay. We've done 14 nights in the last month. We're okay. But actually, if you were a fly on the wall, you realize you went on a date and both of you were on your phone for the whole time. So you actually on a date night and nothing changed, but tick.
And as a young guy, I liked what you said at the very, very beginning, because we talked about doing the things together, spending the time and all that. And he actually mentioned without your phone. Yeah, because I wouldn't have said it. In my mind, I know it and I wouldn't have my phone, but to actually hear you say and without your phone, I think it's,
and even if you're a content creator, because not everyone now thinks they're content creators, and I think it's the thing of is a little bit of etiquette. So the meal comes out, you take a picture of the meal and you put your phone down. You don't take a picture of the meal and then, oh, let me check my Instagram. You don't even have to upload the image in real time. Is a whole
you're giving them far too much grace. You're almost mitigating some of that behavior.
I agree with you, Mark. I agree with you. Yeah, as much as I hear what you're saying, Charlie, my thing is, listen, content creator, you've got so many other things to create content on, and so many other meals that you can create content for. This time, which you and I, we're here to be in each other's presence. This isn't about you working. This isn't about you, developing your business further and your vlogging. No, all that aside. For once, just be in the present moment with me. Forget the rest. Let's just focus on us. No mobile phones. Leave the phone in the room, right? We're done. Just enjoy each other's presence. Like literally. I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. I done Valentine's last year. I done Valentine's last year. I had a Valentine last year, right? We were away. And the phones didn't need to come with us. When the restaurant was on site, leave the phone in the room, go to your restaurant. Forget the phones. Just enjoy each other, man.
100%, because and this is and maybe relationships are just so complex and intertwined and convoluted these days, because what I'm hearing is a lot of but suppose this and suppose that, and I'm just kind of going back to the 80s where I just want to be with you and you want to be with me, but we've got a bit of a problem. How do we get through it? That's, but now there's too much mitigation and too much caveating. And I still feel, I'm the first to say that I might be a dinosaur. I still feel that a lot of the things that go wrong in a relationship when you both want it, I'm not talking about when she wants somebody else or he wants somebody else, or I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you both want it and it's not working. A lot of it, I think, is laziness. Now, I might be a dinosaur. So
No,
make
no,
the
I agree.
effort. Don't go to that meal with your phone. Don't go. Don't. Why? I mean, you know what it is. I was dating and doing that whole game. There was no such thing as a mobile phone, so I don't get it. I don't get what we just put on the phone.
You
We
know,
didn't have a phone. We didn't have one. So
But you know what? People will give you 12 million reasons as to why.
Yeah.
But you know, I always say the better your event is,
yeah,
the less pictures you have of it.
yeah.
Because
I can
it's
get. I
like you
can
go
see
to a
that.
concert and you're fighting behind everybody's phone to see on the stage because everyone is filming it and you're not present in
Hmm.
a moment if you're behind the phone. You can't be present in a moment if you're behind a phone. You can't.
Mm.
So I totally get it. I totally get it. And I think whatever your rules of engagement are,
Yeah.
just be clear about it. Just say, I want to spend time with you. No phones. Now, if someone is protesting too much about it,
No,
then
don't go.
then exactly, because you know what?
No.
Even if you're on call, then maybe today's not a good day for you. If you're, you know what I mean? If you're on call, maybe today's not a good day for us to have a heart to heart or spend some time together. Because if you're gonna tell me you're gonna need to keep looking at your phone every
No,
3
so we're
minutes.
talking about reigniting the spark. So I want to reignite the spark with my wife, and she says, "Yeah, okay, let's go out and try and reignite the spark." But I'm taking my phone because I've got to call my brother, sister, cousin, auntie, uncle. No, that's just not on. Okay. There was a point here that I was just going to make. And where has it gone?
And you know what? But you know, and so once you've also decided, so we've cleared the blockage, we've
Yeah.
decided that this is what we want to be working on.
Yeah.
I think that's when the romance and stuff comes in.
Yeah. So does that go back to your point about having that conversation?
Vulnerability.
Huh?
About being vulnerable first.
Yep.
Mark, why do you
Vulnerability.
struggle with that? Mark, why do you struggle with that?
Go on, he's gonna tell you about the chink in his armor.
I don't necessarily struggle with it.
You sure? Okay. Okay.
Well, I did that very deliberately. So
The last time he was vulnerable, he was 2.
No. I don't have a problem with vulnerability. I'm just still recovering from a traumatic experience. That's all. I'm just working through it.
But vulnerability, communication, and compromise are the 3 things.
Do you know what the biggest issue for me, and I can't speak for many men at all. The only issue with vulnerability that I really have is trust, and that's it. So I wouldn't say that I have a big issue with vulnerability. I like to play that with Charlie all the time. But the issue for me with making myself vulnerable in any circumstance is trust.
Yeah.
So
Fair enough.
you do theater games where will you be vulnerable with this person? And so we build trust and in the theater game. And then once you've built the trust, you can be very vulnerable with them, and then you start on in your workshop. So and that's how it manifests itself to me in life. And for my peers, if we're discussing it, it boils down. We might use different words, but it boils down to that. It's if you're not in a situation that you trust, that you have confidence in, then it's difficult to make yourself vulnerable because by definition, you're opening yourself to attack by the definition of the word vulnerable. And so if you're not in a trusting situation, then it's difficult. Okay, I'm just looking.
But it's required.
Huh?
But I think within that, if within that intimate space,
Hmm.
it's required. And the thing with
I guess you can't have true intimacy without trust, can you?
yeah.
Did I say that too quickly?
Well,
No, I would agree. You can't. You can't. How can you have true intimacy without
You
trust?
guys want to jump on that. That's why I wanted to pull it back.
Like
No.
you can't have true intimacy with. You can have a false sense of intimacy, true intimacy. But if that person doesn't trust you, remember, you're only going off what you know, right? So you don't know if someone truly trusts you, right? So based on your own lens, if you're trusting them to the best of your ability or to the fullest, transparently, then cool. But if they're withholding that and it's not obvious, then it is what it is. But no, I think you can only have true intimacy with trust.
Yeah, I actually do believe that. I just didn't know that I wanted to give that to Charlie.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. I know I've broken you over the years, but it's all right.
Oh dear. Okay. Okay, let me ask you. Let me ask this. I was talking to I don't know if I mentioned it the last time Isaac was on, but I remember talking to Paul Weeks. Well, we had our show Tell Me a Story, and Paul Weeks made this point, and I've dined out on his comment, and so I'm going to share it again now. We're talking about intimacy, we're talking about trust, and we're talking about loving people that are unlovable and romance and creating joy and the whole thing around it. And I've got here a few things of ways that you can show love to people where the spark has gone a little bit. So Paul Weeks' comment is not on here, but I'm going to make his comment. I'm going to say to start off with. And he said, so we're talking as men, and he goes, remember that whatever you're going through, that she is also a child of God. And I just think that comment is worth $1 million. I shoehorn it into any opportunity I can get it. I can get it in because and I had to pause because I thought I've never thought she's not a child of God, but I've never really made it a thing that I think of that she is a child of God. You see what I mean?
And that comment is even stronger than the whole remember somebody's daughter or someone's sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you know
yeah.
that's the common line that people use. Well, careful how you're treating her because you know remember somebody else. How would you like if someone treat your sister the same way?
Yeah.
But actually,
Yeah, my sister's an adult,
Yeah.
so my sister
Right.
will determine how you treat her. Yeah.
my sister will smash you down. So it don't
Yeah,
matter.
so you're removing the
Yeah.
responsibility, but just by that. But that's it. Because
Yeah.
we were having were you here the day we were discussing it?
remember.
But we were discussing a heated discussion about this and that and dating and all of that stuff. And I want to take you to the theater and all of that. I don't know. I just love the theater. Hey, shoot me.
Hey.
I love it. I love it. I can't get around it. I love it. And all
But
of that.
no, but that's to me. That is when everything's established.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going there now and
Early
saying,
days.
I'm
Early
not-
days. You
I'm not
can't be
going-
going to.
I'm not going there
Them
now
type
and
of
saying that. I'm
places.
just saying that we were having this.
Angel of the Lord won't
this-
go inside.
The angel of the Lord will be with you inside. If he wouldn't be inside, then we'd all go to the theater and do illegal things. So yeah, but just that whole thing about just remember that she's also a child of
Yeah.
God. I think that's $1 million statement, and so I always credit him with giving it to me. So I don't want anybody to think that I came up with that. But
So don't trifle with people's heart.
well, no, that's not even. No, I think it's deeper than that. I think it's deeper than that
It is.
because I could say, I'm not trifling with your heart, but you feel your heart is trifled, right? But I'm not trifling with your heart. I could say that's up to you. That you've totally misread what's going on.
Words and
But
actions.
The
need to be
hold
in
on.
alignment.
Don't dilute the point I'm making.
I'm not diluting
The
it.
point I'm making is whatever you do, remember that she is also a child of God.
Hallelujah.
And if anybody wants to debate that, I think it's an absolute. I think it says more about them than it does their partner.
Yeah.
No, I don't have to
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
she's. I don't have to remember
Yeah.
she's a child. She's an adult. Well, hold on. What is it that you're really saying about yourself then?
Yeah,
So,
because that works for everything. So before
Yeah.
if you're gonna put your hand on somebody, remember they're a child of God.
Yeah.
Did you create them? Should you be, you know what I mean? So before you start playing with somebody's mind, financially abusing them, physically abusing, emotionally whatever it is, just remember that you're not their creator.
just remember they're a child of God. 'Cause and it's probably just my limitation. When you say, just remember you never created them, it
Yeah, no.
still weakens it for me. Just remember they are a child of God. Boom. It's a mic drop for me. When he said it, it's like, whoa. And the radio was silent for 5 seconds. It's like, yeah. Anyway,
Hold on.
so different.
Hold on. Before we get to that, can
Yeah.
I just go ask a question that's coming?
Yes.
So I'm just looking at the time.
Are
as
you
well.
watching these questions?
I
here? Look.
just got a question. Did someone the time? Oh, okay. Someone.
Go on.
Oh, no, I missed that one. Sorry.
Yeah, don't miss
Okay,
them,
sorry,
man.
sorry. Sharon, you are so correct.
Who said that? Who said that?
Clear the blockage.
Who?
Sharon said.
Okay.
Then Ruth says, would you say women are more vulnerable in a relationship? It depends on the
Ooh.
It depends on what you're
Ooh.
vulnerable, because this is my point. Vulnerable, open to attack, or vulnerable, honest with themselves, honest with how they're feeling. You see, I don't know what they mean by vulnerable, and this is the Mishali thing. What does that word mean in this sentence? But Isaac went, ooh, so he's our guest. I'm gonna give him the floor.
I don't think so. Now, obviously, I don't know. I don't even know in which way they mean the question, but I'll answer it how I received it. And I don't think women are more vulnerable in relationships. I believe they are more vulnerable in relationships. Charlie, I can see you already reacting to this. Yes, I genuinely believe that women genuinely believe they're more vulnerable in relationships. It's like also like I believe that women also believe that they love more unconditionally than what men love unconditionally. Where I think women are more attuned to loving with more conditions than men. No, I'm being serious. I'm being serious. I genuinely think that women aren't as vulnerable as they believe that they are, and it also stems from they love with a lot of conditions, as opposed to men. Men generally love unconditionally. It's not, no, it's okay. That's my opinion. It's my opinion. I think that with women, there's many, okay, there's many times we've heard things like, if he does this, I will then do this. Even if we go back to submission, if he knows how to lead, I will submit. The clause was never about the man anyway. Biblically, it was never about the man. It was never about the man. It was about the man, as in Jesus. It was never about your partner. If he knows how to love me, I will love him. If he knows how to do, when it should always be about self, irrespective of if she knows how to love me, I'm going to love her anyway. If she respects me or not. I will example what I want to receive, regardless of if I'm yet receiving it.
And do you know?
So,
Go on. No, complete your point.
yeah, I'm just saying, even if you go back to the dating phase, yeah, even if you go back to the first initial dating phase, a man usually is expected to, on dates, the first few dates, to show out. And I'm not just talking about finance, forget finance for a minute, put that aside. I'm talking about the effort made, i.e., the type of dates, not necessarily going ahead and but the fact that, hey, I'm always calling you. Hey, I'm always planning what we're doing. Hey, I'm always initially, for the majority, I would say, majority of experiences with men, we are the ones who are and then it's premised on, oh, but you're the lead, you're the lead, you're the lead. It's like, yeah, but you're picking and choosing when I'm the lead, because when I want to lead on something else, they come with more conditions. You say, oh, but like the situations, yeah, where in the past I've said to someone, and I know friends as well, other males that we've said to someone, right? Oh, are you free? What do you think the response is? It's a conditional response. It is not, yeah, I'm free. It's, what are we doing? Now, automatically, that's conditioned with, if what we're doing is Kate you're my time, right? It's like,
Gentlemen, Isaac's opinions are of the
listen,
circle.
listen. When I got that response, honestly, and for any of the men listening, I pray you do the same thing. Honestly, this is one time where I'm going to say, I hope other men that are listening do the same thing. When I've ever been given that response of, what are we doing, rather than being told, yes, I am free, I've just said, take care. Doesn't matter what I'm
You know
doing.
what? Can I just
See,
say that's not a vulnerable move, and I'll
No,
tell you
no,
why.
no, you don't need to be a vulnerable move, because guess what? They're not also being vulnerable with me, right? In that situation. Yeah.
You know what?
And then let me stop joking with that, yeah?
No.
Vulnerable
But
move.
hold on. Can I just say to you?
Yeah.
Do you know what it's like? Yeah, when someone says, "Just be ready," you ask no questions, and then you turn up in heels to have to walk for 4 miles in shoes.
no, but that's after you've established that you're free and he tells you what's going on.
He doesn't tell you what. Oh,
Thank you, Mark. Thank you,
yeah.
Mark. Thank you, Charlie. You think you missed that key point. My point straight away, man. Mark point straight away, right? The point isn't, oh, when you turn up in hills, you've just told me you're free. You've told me, you've asked me, what are we doing? Yes. You don't think you're available. You need to tell me if you're available or not. If you're not available on this day or at this
No,
time,
no.
no.
What I'm saying to you is, are you free? Yes, I am. I'm
Charlie,
picking you up at 6. No problem. You get ready. You get picked up at 6. You're wearing heels. Real life story. And then you
Yes,
end
I'm
up
ready.
having.
Yes,
Huh?
I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready. What time would you like me? Yes, I'm free on Saturday. I'm free on Saturday at 7 p.m. Okay, cool. I'm gonna come pick you up. Cool. What should I wear?
yeah. See,
See,
Charlie ain't that keen on you anymore now.
you know the
That's
problem
fine.
is.
Let me before we run out of time. Yeah, no, before we run out of time, I want to just go with something here. So do you know that the Isaac made a point about men being maybe a lot more vulnerable than the women give them credit for, and I think personally, what I've seen, what I experienced is that men do not appear vulnerable because they are so vulnerable, and then when that vulnerability gets attacked, shattered, I don't know, impaired, then whereas maybe a woman can take a hit and after another hit after another hit, after showing whatever degree of vulnerability that they display, a man being vulnerable gets a hit. He's not coming back vulnerable so easily. So I think the men might love more deeply or be more deeply vulnerable. Charlie's not having any of this. The men might be vulnerable more deeply, but they're more fragile with their vulnerability.
What is it depending on who the woman is, and it depends. It
Yeah.
depends.
Which is true. Which is true.
Yeah, it depends because they're vulnerable with one, and then the other they're less vulnerable with.
Charlie doesn't want me to finish my points, man. It's all right.
No, read your points. Read them. Read them.
Because you're done, right? You're done.
them.
You're done. You're done.
Okay. Can I just say next week we need a female? Is this
Clark.
is there a female out there that want to talk about love?
Isaac, Charlie said, let's get Isaac. Isaac's always good for a talk. Let's get Isaac. Now she said, next week we want a woman.
Yes.
It's all good. It's all love, Charlie. It's all
Female
love.
Isaac.
It's all love.
Hey,
It's all love.
So what?
Not female Isaac either.
Uh, um, okay, so what we saying then for I think you know what for me the whole thing about somebody that's difficult to love, and I remember this is the premise that we both wanted. This is not you trying to force this girl to like you or you forcing this man to like you. I think the for me what's come out of this is really about create spontaneity. Go back. So one of the listeners texted in and said, "Whatever you did to get me, do that to keep me." And
That's how you get me is how you lose me.
what? How you got me is how you lose me.
Yeah, that's what they say
Some
too.
of they said no, but yeah, but the listener did say what Mark said. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
they did.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know, but I just
Yeah, Charlie just wants to stir the pot. That's all right. Charlie's gone through some trauma, you see.
like it's me once it's the near. Hey, okay.
Anyway, the point is, listeners, after dark, the point is, yeah, go back to your spontaneity. We talked a lot about culture and I've never needed to do that, or I've never seen that in my community or my family or my mates, my friends, just the guys I hang out with. We've never ever done that. If you're trying to create that spark or recreate that spark, the first thing I think was come out of tonight and sort of also last week was that your goal has to be about creating joy in the other person. And what necessarily creates joy in you isn't necessarily what will create joy in them. What created joy in your previous girl isn't necessarily going to be what creates joy in your current girl. So you're going to have to spend the time talking about it. And I will give Charlie this, the conversation has to be open and honest. Because if it's not, what will happen is you'll be fed a lot of, it's like saying, oh, I really like beetroot cake, but I don't like beetroot cake. So you make me a beetroot cake every week. Well, it's my fault. I wasn't honest when you asked me. So I think that is the first thing. Remember, always be spontaneous. Never be predictable. Always try to show something that raises an eyebrow, raises a smile. That's what I think we need to do. And if you find that someone is becoming hard to love, a person you're with, remember that's my premise, is becoming hard to love. Have a good look in the mirror. Have you become difficult to love? Have you become a person that they don't find so exciting anymore? And not just trying to do things to get them to be more exciting. Do stuff that makes you more exciting. Put some time in for yourself. Do some work on yourself. What else did I have here before we go? Yes, the prayer. If you're people of faith, keep prayer in your relationship. And if you're not necessarily, maybe you've grown up in faith. If you're listening to this program, you've got some degree or modicum of faith in you. But if you would say that you're not really a strong faith person or deep in your faith, always remember, however you handle yourself, always remember that your partner is a child of God. And I think that the key thing, what that means is about abuse. And that's not just physical abuse, just about abuse. Respect them, hold them up in high esteem, hold them up in high regard, affirm them. They are fearfully and wonderfully made. They are a child of God. That's what they are. And always respect that fact. Never forget that fact. I think are we at 10? Oh, good grief, we're at 10. Yeah, that takes me to it. I think. Anything from you, Charlie? Or shall I just thank Isaac?
No, go get your music out for this week. If you're feeling that you're not feeling love, go into your jukebox and take that one feel-good song out and don't care who's looking, and just hold the hand of the person you love and just dance with them, man,
Yeah,
and have a good time.
yeah. Dance with them and have a good time. You've got to create joy. You've got your goal has got to be to create joy, happiness, and laughter in your partner. And I think we'll survive. We'll get through Friday, and we'll get through the whole of this year. I'm off to go and create some laughter.
And anything left for you, Isaac?
Yeah, I'll say enjoy your romancing or being romanced. Be open to it. If you don't have a Valentine, go and do something nice, romantic to someone else. Like go give a homeless person a warm meal. Like, create a smile on someone's face, do something lovely, do a nice gesture. And also love yourself. Treat yourself to something. Treat yourself to something.
Yeah, I'm gonna treat myself to something.
Therapy. Okay, guys. It's been great having you on this evening. Isaac.
Always a pleasure to speak to this young
Thank
man.
you.
Always.
Thank you. Likewise, man. Appreciate you.
Talk to you soon, yeah?
Take care.
Yes, thanks a
Bye.
lot.
Bye.
So,
Take care.
got your you got your oh, okay.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
All right, I'm out. Peace. Catch you soon, Mark. Catch you on the weekend. Take care, Charlie. Bye.